Namaste, all of you. I hope you are enjoying whatever we have discussed yesterday and you are waiting for the next progressive session. Okay. Yesterday we gone through this particular terms which are used in medical science regarding the different movements of the joints or different concepts related to your muscular system, skeletal system. Today we are going to start with giving particular moments of the spine with particular asana practices and which muscles should contract, which should relax or which should stretch, that we are going to understand. You need not to practice, you just observe here how the Mr. Amit is performing with me, and according to my instruction. If you wish to, you can practice. Okay, so to take the practical experience. So directly we are starting with PPT, in which there are different moments of the spine and moments of the different body parts or joints, and how the mechanism of that particular moment is happening or should happen. Okay, so the different joint moments are like mechanism of flexion, how the flexion is happening, in which parts, in which joints, how the extension is happening, especially the spinal extension, then the mechanism of adduction and abduction. Okay, then mechanism of pronation and supination. Okay, and then mechanism of rotation and mechanism of circumduction. These are different types of movements happening in our body. So flexion, that is forward bending, extreme forward bending of the spine is happening in, for example, 3 asanas: Paschimottanasana, Halasana, Padhastasana or Hastapadasana, Karnapidasana. In those asanas, extreme forward bending is happening. Okay, so let us experience with first asana, that is known as Paschimottanasana. Okay, in PPT we have those pictures also, or if you want to practice with the demonstrator, you can join us, otherwise only observe. Okay, please proceed for Paschimottanasana now. Sitting in Dandasana, how to prepare, how to ask the people to prepare for asanas. So weight should be on the top of the sit bones, that means on the ischiums. Pulling the kneecaps, knees are straight, front thighs are active, heels and toes together. Then toes are pointed up to the ceiling. Do not drop your toes out. Palms are resting by the sides of the hips, but shoulders are relaxed. Do not hike your shoulders. Shoulders should be relaxed. Widening at the collarbone, opening the chest. So this is your collarbone. So this should be widened, opening the chest, and maintaining the natural curvature of the vertebral column. Now, during postural analysis, you will understand the little deformities, or because of some habits, how the curvature of the spine is disturbed. Now here there is no curvature of the spine, which should be, but because of the regular practice, he is able to perform all those asanas. Now slowly, from the sides, slowly stretch your hands at the shoulder level, widening at the collarbone, open the chest, open the rib cage, tuck the belly button in, engage your abs. Now turn your palms up, slowly circle your hands to the ceiling, palms facing in front. Keep engaging your abs, tuck the belly button in, and as it is, first hinge from the hip thigh joint, from ball and socket joint. Don't proceed with the cervical or upper thoracic. Proceed with the hip thigh joint. After hinging from the hip thigh joint, when you will finish the capacity of your hip thigh joint, then from the lumbar spine. Keep lengthening yourself, and then release your hands on your legs. Hold your legs where the hands are reaching easily. You can hold your big toes. You can make a finger lock below the soles of the feet. Elbows are resting on the ground, and then face is resting below the knee joints, that is between the shin bones. Okay, so imagine to flatten your torso or your front of the torso on your legs. So abdominal region is resting on your thighs, chest is resting over the knees, and face is resting below the knee joints on the shin bones. Okay, this is Paschimottanasana, Pascha, posterior, Uttana, stretch. So when backside part of the body, posterior part of the body is getting stretched. That is the name of this asana, Paschimottanasana. Okay, slowly. For this asana, flexibility of the spine is important, but more than that, flexibility of the hip thigh joints and flexibility of the hamstrings is also very important. Slowly lengthen up, come up. So the flexibility of your spine is not sufficient for Paschimottanasana. Your hamstring tightness will also restrict you from reaching to the final position. Okay, now please lie down on your back as it is. After few normal breath, prepare yourself for next posture, that is Halasana. Of course, Halasana means Purna Halasana. In the tradition, there is no Ardha with one leg or two legs. That is for the therapy purpose. But Halasana means complete plow pose, in which again your legs are together, pulling the kneecaps, knees are straight, hands are resting by the sides of your hips, neck, shoulders relaxed. Do not raise your chin from the throat. Okay. Otherwise, because of the pressure or because of the stiffness in the neck, many people are resting their head like this. So lengthen the back of the neck and rest your back of the head on the ground. All the time your hands, shoulders, neck and face will remain relaxed as it is. Now slowly, first engage your abs, tuck the belly button in. Then slowly start to lift your both legs step by step. When you'll reach up to 90 degree, naturally your lumbar curvature will be flattened automatically because of shortening the obliques, internal obliques. Then slightly pressing your palms on the ground, take your legs overhead parallel to the ground, so that your spine will roll up automatically from tailbone to the upper thoracic. Okay, don't give jerk to come up. Then as it is, try to touch your toes overhead on the ground, and then make a finger lock at the top of the head in this way. So this is Halasana plow pose. Doesn't matter whether you are able to lengthen the spine fully and directly hinging from the hip thigh joint. It depends on the individual. So the person who is having proper flexibility in the spine, that person will be able to give this curvature. Otherwise, because of the stiffness in the spine, hinging from the hip thigh joint will be more, and spine may be little straight. Okay, so that doesn't matter. Slowly come back. While coming back, don't take your legs up. Keep your legs close to you, and then rolling your spine slowly. One by one vertebra is resting on the ground from upper thoracic to the tailbone, and then release your legs. Till you come out of the pose fully, don't release your abdominal connection, and relax now. So this is Purna Halasana. After this Purna Halasana, we'll try for standing asana, extreme forward bending in standing, that is known as Hasta Padasana or Padhastasana. Okay, so you relax for some time, and after relaxation, then we'll proceed for that Hasta Padasana or Padhastasana. So in the flexion, the anterior surface of the body comes to slide please. So the anterior surface of the body comes to each other. Front, if you divide your body in two parts, upper body above the lumbar region, lower body below the lumbar region, that time what happens? Your lower body, lower part of the body and upper part of the body, both are coming close to each other by folding them, by hinging them. So that is why, so what it is it is named as anterior surface of the body. Both surfaces of the body are coming close to each other in forward bending asana. Okay, one muscle is contracted and the counter muscle is getting stretched in flexion. What is that? One muscle means your obliques are getting contracted for forward bending. Your hip flexors are getting contracted in Paschimottanasana. If we take example of Paschimottanasana, Halasana, or Hastapadasana. So the hip flexors, these are getting contracted. Your obliques are getting contracted. Your quadriceps are getting contracted or getting toned up. But at the same time, the counter muscles, that means your hamstrings, your back muscles, spinal muscles are getting stretched. So front muscles are getting contracted, back posterior muscles are getting stretched in forward bending. Okay, so that is the example of those three asanas. The same thing is happening in Karnapidasana also. In forward bending, your obliques, all the obliques, internal and external obliques of both sides are getting contracted, whereas the spinal muscles are getting stretched. All spinal muscles, not only core muscles, not only multifidus, but all the spinal muscles are getting, back muscles are getting stretched. Okay, now please come in standing and we'll try for Hasta Padasana or Padhastasana. Side view, face here. So standing straight, feet are together, looking at the eye level. Keep engaging your abs, tuck the belly button in. Then slowly proceed. Stretching your hands overhead, lengthen up properly. Keep tucking your belly button in. Now first, again, don't proceed with your head or upper back. So many times what people do, they proceed with the cervical and upper back like this. No, keep your shoulders relaxed, keep widening at the collarbone and start to hinge from the hip thigh joint. Keep your back as it is straight and hinging from the hip thigh joint here. At least you should come parallel to the ground, shooting the tailbone out. Now what is happening, because of the stiffness in the hamstrings, automatically your hips are going back. More you are flexible in hamstrings, you will be in front. So more weight will be on your toes, not on the heels. When you will finish the capacity of your hinging, then you will bend from the lumbar spine first, lower back first. Upper back is already having the curvature. Okay, now all the way going down. This kyphotic curvature is already there in upper thoracic. So you try to bend from the lower back, from the lumbar spine, which is having the backward curvature. That you are going to stretch in forward bending. So if it is possible to place your palms by the sides of your feet, touching your face between your shin bones, whatever is possible for you or easy for you. If I am not flexible, for example, and I am able to bend this much only, you can release. If I am able to bend this much only, this is my capacity. Okay, I am not able to reach here. If I am here, this is my capacity. Still here also, my shoulders should be relaxed as it is. And after reaching here, after finishing my capacity, I will just release my hands like this. So from the front view, the position will be like this, not here. We look at the people, many times people are in this position and trying to stretch. Shoulders are hiked, rounded forward. No. Keep widening at the collarbone, shoulders are relaxed and just hanging. That means your both the palms will be at least shoulder distance apart. And elbows are relaxed, not stretched, relaxed, soften in this way. So as per your capacity, whatever is your capacity depends on the individual. Okay, so not to force yourself at all. Please sit down. So these are three asanas, examples of three asanas for the mechanism of the flexion. Next slide, please. What the other moments happening in flexion in other joints? like forward bending, side bending of the torso. This is the side flexion, side bending of the torso. This is side flexion. As we discussed yesterday about the obliques work for the side bending is ipsilateral obliques. Same side internal obliques and same side external obliques are getting contracted for the side flexion of the body. Then other moments or other joints in which flexion is happening, those are known as elbow joint, this elbow flexion, then knee flexion, ankle flexion. And yesterday I told you the flexion of the ankle and extension of the ankle, both the moments are known as flexion, dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So when your toes are pointed towards you, it is known as dorsiflexion, and plantar flexion when your toes are going away from you, in front of you, that is known as plantar flexion. This is the only joint and only moment which is known as flexion for both moments. Then in side bending, that ipsilateral obliques are contracted, opposite side obliques are stretched. Of course, another major muscles are also working for side bending. Spinal muscles, back muscles are also working, but primary concentration or primary work should done from the abdominal muscles or oblique muscles. Then biceps and triceps are working in counteraction while bending and extension of the elbows. When your biceps are getting contracted, that time it is helping to bend the elbow. At the same time, your triceps are getting stretched. Whereas when your triceps are getting contracted, that time elbow extension is happening and your biceps are getting stretched. Okay. So these are the counter muscles of each other. Biceps and triceps are counter muscles of each other. In the same way, quadriceps, front thighs, and hamstrings, back thighs are also counter muscles of each other. For the flexion of the knee, for bending the knee, your hamstrings are getting contracted, quadriceps are getting stretched. For the extension of the knee, lengthening the knee, that time your quadriceps are getting contracted and hamstrings are getting lengthened. So these two muscles are counter muscles of each other. Whereas for the ankle joint movement, plantar flexion and dorsiflexion, your gastrocnemius and soleus, these two muscles are working as a counter muscles. So when your plantar flexion is happening, means your toes are pointed in front, that time your gastrocnemius muscles are getting contracted, soleus is getting stretched. Whereas when your dorsiflexion, means toes are towards you, that time your soleus muscle is getting contracted, gastrocnemius are getting stretched. Okay, these are the counter muscles of each other. Okay, now next slide please. After flexion, then we are going for the extension, mechanism of extension. Extension asana, examples of asanas which gives extension to the body are like Dhanurasana, Naukasana in prone pose, then Bhujangasana, Shalabhasana, all Ushtrasana, okay, Setubandhasana, all those asanas are giving extension to the spine. So for example, Dhanurasana now, please proceed. Dhanurasana, again, traditional Dhanurasana, that is by holding your toes and you are stretching your feet towards the ears. If that advanced or traditional Dhanurasana is not possible for you, you can practice simple Dhanurasana, bending the knees. Then you can hold your ankle joints or hold your toes. Then squeeze your buttocks and back thighs. Okay, first let him perform the original asana, Dhanurasana. Okay, this is proper Dhanurasana which is explained in the tradition. So your big toe should come to the ears. This is traditional Dhanurasana, bow pose. Okay, now release. And then practice the simple one. So bend at your knees, hold your ankle joints with respect to hands. Now stay here first, make sure that your shoulders are retracted, then squeezing your buttocks and back thighs, engaging your abs. So squeezing your buttocks and back thighs is helping you to lift your lower body, that means knees and thighs, and engaging your abs, you are lifting your upper body in Dhanurasana. And your body weight should remain on the lower abdominal region in Dhanurasana, not on your pelvis, not on the pubic bone. Because of the stiffness, if you have stiffness or tight hip flexors, then your body weight will come on the pelvis or on the pubic bone or center bone. But ideally, the center of gravity in this asana is your belly button in Dhanurasana. Okay. Breathing should be continued in all asana practices in the final position. Slowly release. Be comfortable for some time. You can release your legs. Now proceed for Naukasana in prone pose. Legs are together, toes pointed back. Then stretch your hands in front of you, hands parallel, elbows straight, knees straight. So by pulling the kneecaps, keeping your front thighs active, you are keeping your knees straight. By working with your inner thighs adductors, you are able to keep your legs together. Then by squeezing your buttocks and back thighs, hamstrings and glutes, you are able to lift your both legs straight. Whereas by engaging the abs, you are lifting your upper body. Okay. So all the connections are together in this asana. Abdominal connection, shoulder connection, glutes, hamstrings, front thighs, inner thighs, all together. Okay. So this asana is not only at the physical level, it's a body-mind coordination in this asana. So more you become flexible, more you get the strength and stamina, you will be able to extend more and more. So what is happening here? All the back muscle, posterior muscles of the body are getting contracted, whereas front muscles are getting stretched. So abdominal muscles, obliques are getting stretched here. Slowly release and relax. Slide please. So the anterior surface of the body are going away from each other. In extension, the front part of the body, surface of the body is going away from each other in the extension. Be it Dhanurasana, be it Shalvasana, be it Bhujangasana, okay, be it Ushtrasana. In all backward bending asanas, all the back muscles are getting contracted and front muscles of the body are getting stretched. Next slide, please. Adduction and abduction. These two movements are happening in only certain joints, like your hand, that means your shoulder joint, then your foot and your scapula. So what is happening in adduction and abduction? Adding to each other. That means your both legs, when they are coming close to each other, or the legs are coming towards the center line, that is known as adduction moment. Whereas your legs are going away from each other, that is abduction moment. Abduction, adduction and abduction, adduction and abduction. So for example, when in standing you are stretching, or in sitting when you are opening your leg and stretching your leg to the side, this abduction is happening in my right hip joint. Whereas when I am trying to take my leg towards the center line, adduction is happening with my right leg or right hip joint. So that is abduction, adduction. In the same way, in my shoulder joint, in my hand, is also the same mechanism is happening, that is known as abduction. When my hand is going away from my body to the side, that is known as abduction. And adduction, when my hand is coming close to the body, that is adduction of my hand. So the same thing is applicable, or same thing moment is happening towards the in your foot also. Adduction and abduction in this way, sideward. Okay. So these are the joints where those movements are happening in your body. Next slide, please. That pronation and rotation also, supination also, backside. Okay. Mechanism of rotation. In which joints rotation is happening? In shoulder joint. Okay. Shoulder rotation. Many times we do that exercise, shoulder rotation. Okay. But usually what people do, shoulder rotation without any awareness, they are doing like this as an exercise. But shoulder rotation should be done in two ways. One way is very slow and very small range of movement, and other one in which the biggest range of movement. Purpose is, it depends on the individual, need of the individual, need of the student, need of the patient. When you have stiffness in the shoulders or weakness in the shoulder, not the stiffness but weakness in the shoulder joints, when you are not able to maintain your hands at the shoulder level for longer time because of our good habits, because of our luxurious life, we are not able to lift our own hands and maintain our own hands at the shoulder level, because we are not habitual for that. Everything is ready-made for us nowadays. So it becomes very difficult to maintain your hands at the shoulder level. Then to strengthen your core muscles of the shoulder joint, SITS, group of muscles, for that very small range of movement is necessary to strengthen those small muscles, inner muscles. And for that, when you are bending at the elbows, okay, you can, I will show you here. So when you are, place your palms on the shoulders here, fingers on the shoulders. So your both the elbows and your shoulder, this is the axis, this is one line. And around this axis, you are going to rotate your shoulders very small circle, in a very small circle like this one. You need a body mind coordination for this. It is very difficult to do this with control, because this should be the axis and your elbow is rotating around the axis, see, in the radius, in the proper radius. Okay. Then in forward direction, in opposite direction. Doesn't matter you start with backward or you start with forward. But this should not happen in front only, it should not happen in back only, or while practicing this one, you should not drop your elbows down. Your forearms and upper arms and elbows should remain at the shoulder level all the time. Okay. So this is one type of shoulder rotation to work with the core muscles, small muscles, inner muscles. Now, with the shoulder joints, with the core muscles, upper trapezius, here your neck, your scapulae, surrounding muscles of the scapulae, your pecs, your chest, rib cage, intercostal muscles of the rib cage, all are working together in the full range of movement, where your elbows are coming close to each other in front of the face, then keeping them together when your hands are coming, elbows are coming down in front of the belly button, then from close to the torso, your elbows are going back. This time your rib cage is completely opened. Then you are taking your elbows up by the sides of the head and then coming close to each other in front of the face. This biggest range of movement in this way for the elbow, for the shoulders. This one, in which the full movement of the rib cage is also happening, upper back. So medial and upper division of the upper thoracic or the trapezius, upper and middle division of the trapezius, your pecs, and the intercostal muscles of the rib cage all are getting worked out or getting stretched. Your chest is getting open completely in this moment. So in this way, shoulder rotation should happen. Relax. Slide, please. So the shoulder rotation is of these two types, or we should practice in this way in two types according to the need of the person. Next slide, please. No, previous one. Previous one. One more. Previous. This slide was missing. Sorry. So pronation and supination. What is that? That is applicable for your palms and your feet. And this is necessary to understand because in the next hour, we are going to discuss about this pronation and supination, which is depending on your position of the feet. We have prone lying positions and supine positions, you know. Supine positions, lying down on the back, means your face is up. So when your palms are facing up, that is known as supination of your palms. And when your palms are turning down, facing down toward the ground, that is known as pronation, prone lying, supine. Okay, that is why supination and pronation. This movement is happening from the elbow joint, and your radius and ulna, those two bones are crossing each other when your palms are facing up and palms are facing down. Okay, this supination and pronation, this moment at the elbow joint, and the moment is also at your feet, supination of the feet and pronation of the feet. So when your feet, your weight of the body on the outer edge of the feet, that is also known as supination. And when your weight is on the inner edge of the feet, that is known as pronation. So many times people are having flat feet. Because of the flat feet, weight of the body is coming on the inner edge of the foot, and there is a lack of arch in the foot. That is known as pronation of the feet. Supination and pronation of the feet. And these moments, supination and pronation, are only happening only in your feet and in your palms. Okay, from the elbow joint and from the ankle joint. Next, please. Next to next. Rotation and circumduction. Now this circumduction moment is happening only in one joint, that is, or one bone, that is known as scapula, in your shoulder joint. Shoulder joint is ball and socket joint, and with that, from the front side, the collarbone, clavicle is running through, and then from the back side, the scapula is there. So this is the collarbone, starting from the sternum, from here till here, this collarbone, and then from here, from back side, the scapula is coming, and this collarbone is just touching to the scapula like this. But scapula itself don't have any bony attachment. Shoulder joint is separate, collarbone is separate, scapula is separate. So because of that lack of bony attachment, shoulder joint is having biggest range of movement as compared to all the other joints of the body, in which flexion, extension, supination, pronation, all the moments are happening. So rotation is also happening in your shoulder joint. And when all the moments are happening together or done together, that moment is known as circumduction. That means hand circles. When your hands are circled like this, in this way, backward or forward direction, this is known as circumduction. That means the flexion is also happening, flexion, extension, abduction, rotation, All the moments are happening at a time. That is why it is known as circumduction in shoulder joint. Okay. With the circumduction, I just remembered this one. I would like to give you one experience of the circumduction shoulder rotation. I will request all of you to come in standing and just have an experience of this shoulder rotation or the moment of the circumduction. Please come in standing, all of you. And your upper body will be visible, should be visible. I should see your upper body above the lumbar region, and I should be able to see your hands also when you are stretching up in this way. Okay. So the condition is your elbows should remain straight all the time. When, especially when they are going back, that time tendency is there to bend the elbows. So keep your elbows straight. Then start to rotate your hands in a forward direction. Circle your hands, circumduction. Biggest circle as per your capacity. Keeping your elbows straight. Three to four times in forward direction. Now stay in front, stop in front, at the shoulder level in front. Now go for the reverse, opposite direction. Elbows straight. Biggest range of movement, but the slowest movement. After 3 to 4 rotations, then you will stay in front, stop in front. Here naturally your palms are facing down. Now you are going to supinate your palms. That means if you consider the example of a cricket in which you are going for the off spin with both hands, so your palms are completely supinated. Maintain this supination. Keep turning your palms up as it is. Elbows are straight. And again, maintaining this one as it is, start to circle your hands, rotate. Shifa, your palm should be like this. Maintain this. Don't go for this one. Here. Yeah. In this way. Three to four rotations in forward direction, then 3 to 4 rotations in backward direction. Again, stop in front. Then turn your palms for pronation, prone lying. That means leg spin of the cricket. Maintain this. Maintain the pronation and again circle your hands. Biggest circle. Now it becomes more difficult. Okay. I don't hope, but I am sure that this exercise or this moment you have given first time in your life. Three to four rotations in forward direction, and after that, now 3 to 4 in backward direction. Again, more difficult here. The best exercise or best moment to open your shoulder joints, or if you have frozen shoulder problems like frozen shoulder, or because of the diabetes you have problem in the shoulders or weakness in the shoulder joints, for them very effective. After finishing, relax, release. This I reminded on the spot, and I thought that you should experience this one. So that is why I added additionally this one. Please relax. You can sit now. Slide, please. So this is known as circumduction. But with the circumduction, I have added those moments, that is supination and pronation. And with supination and pronation, when you are giving that circumduction to your scapula and shoulders, it becomes so intensive, and this will help you to open your shoulder joints properly. Why I am again and again repeating shoulder joint, hip joint? Because shoulders and hip joints are the important joint for performance of asana practices. Okay. Primary is your spine. After the spine, if you consider other joints like wrist, elbow, or ankle joint, knee joint, we don't have much asana practices or stiffness in those joints, because there is a flexion, there is a limit, there is an extension, there is a limit. Okay. For the knee also the same thing, but for hip joint and for shoulder joints, these are the joints which are helping you, or which are utilized, which are used in different asana practices. Padmasana is very difficult for many people. Lotus pose. Why? Because you have stiffness in the hip thigh joint. That is why you'll have to open your hip thigh joint properly by giving certain movements. Bhadrasana is very difficult for many people. Okay. But always remember, as a teacher, as a therapist, as an instructor, whatever is your level, it doesn't matter. Don't force your students, don't force your clients. As per their capacity, they know their capacity of the body better than you. They know their limitations better than you. You don't know the limitations. How much flexible they are, how much stiff they are, they know it properly. According to their body structure, their capacity, their flexibility, their strength, their stamina, they will try to perform any asana practice as per their capacity. So, prayatna shaithilya ananta sammapatibhyam should be considered in mind always. Don't forget that. Okay. Now, after this presentation, we are going to further for this postural analysis practice. What is that postural analysis? We will discuss. We have 10 minutes for the break, and before the break, we will discuss little about the postural analysis. We can go for the next slide show, PPT. So the postural analysis, what is that postural analysis? Why postural analysis, and how to do the postural analysis? These are the questions in front of us. What is that postural analysis? Is it necessary? As a yoga instructor, as a yoga teacher, as a yoga therapist, as a yoga master, according to my understanding, postural analysis is very helpful. It is necessary. Before 2011, I was not knowing about anything about anatomy, anything about postural analysis, nothing. I was completely just like but only practicing asana forcefully. Yoga is not for the competition, but by mistake I came in the field of yoga because of the competition. Since 96, I used to participate in the competitions of yoga, and from then I started coming in the field of yoga. But during the competitions, we used to practice for 6 hours a day, 3 hours morning, 3 hours evening. So imagine for 3 hours when you are pulling and pushing each other without any knowledge of anatomy, without any guidance of a teacher, what I have done with this body, you can imagine. So forcefully I practiced, and we practice, whole team. Because of that forceful practice, I have damaged my body in different parts. I had the a tendon injury in my hamstring. I had the lumbar problem. All my lumbar discs were damaged completely. My cervical was damaged fully because of the wrong practice, forceful practice. Till 2010, I used to conduct classes or training for the yoga competitions for the students, and literally with the hunter, I used to teach them yoga. Literally, I used to beat them. Come on, you have to do it. Maintain it. Don't release the pose. Face, smiling face. Okay. After finishing the capacity, after finishing the stamina, the person or the student is almost dying, and still I am asking, no, maintain it forcefully. Thank God, they never had any injury. Okay, because of me. And they got the medals. That is okay. They were happy. Thank you, sir. Because of you, we got the gold medal. We are the first. We are the winners. Okay, no problem. But whatever I have suffered in my life, I don't want anybody to suffer like me. So then I decided to learn a scientific understanding of your asanas, especially asana practices. Then I learned different things. I certified myself in Pilates and this and that, and then I studied a lot. And then I came to understand, I came to know about this postural analysis, which is taught in this physiotherapy only. Okay, when the person is taking admission for the 5 years degree course of physiotherapy, in the first year, postural analysis is taught in depth properly, so that the person will understand, the teacher will understand, looking at the body structure of the person, you will understand the body structure and what are the deformities in the body. When you'll understand looking at the person, and you'll find out the deformities in the body parts, in the joints, in the muscles, it will be very easy for you to decide the line of practice. Which asana practices will helpful, which should be avoided, that is more important. Which are going to help, okay, asana practices are going to help you, but which should be avoided, which should not be done, that is more important. So the limitations of asana practices or contraindications are more important than the benefits of asana practices. This is my understanding. Okay. So now postural analysis is done in two ways. That is by observing, by gazing, by looking with the eyes, and by touching with the palpation. Okay. But be it postural analysis, be it correction of asana practices, many people are habitual to touch the student, to the client again and again, and forcefully pushing and pulling it here and there. That is not correction. How to correct the person, that is also skill of a yoga teacher. When you want to correct the person, if the person is hiking the shoulders unnecessarily, you are not supposed to go and push the shoulders down. No, you just touch there, just like this way, tingling of the fingers like this. Come on, relax. Okay, not to push, not to poke here and there unnecessarily. Come on, close the rib cage and keep your belly button in and poke your, no, not poking, just slightly touching it. No, close it slightly. Immediately the person will feel comfortable with you. Otherwise, the client may take objection on you unnecessarily if you are poking and correcting. Okay, so that is very important as a yoga teacher. Okay, now in postural analysis, you are going to check your whole body joints or parts, like your ankle joint, your feet, ankle joint, then knee joint, hip joint, your lumbar region, your pelvis, lumbar spine, lower thoracic, upper thoracic, then cervical spine, shoulder joint, elbow joint. Okay, then your face, the postural analysis is done in from different views. You are starting with the side views till the lumbar region, as we have two legs, that is why till the lumbar region means till the hip joint and pelvis. You are supposed to check it from both sides for the legs. After that, from the pelvis, lower back, upper thoracic, lower thoracic, upper thoracic, other parts of the body, from the side view, you can check from one side only. Okay. After finishing your side view of the postural analysis, then you are coming to the front view and then the back view, or front back view and then the front view. Okay. So the side view is important. From different views, when you are checking the body of the person, that time you'll understand different deformities. Otherwise, person don't know what is the position of the spine in his body, what is the position of the knees, what is the position of the feet or the hip joint or whatever. People don't know. Even you also don't know. Without any understanding or without checking the body, then how you can decide the line of practice or line of asanas which should be applicable for that person. Okay, if person is coming to open the hip flexors and you are giving all the forward bending asanas, it is useless for that person. So you'll have to maintain the counterbalance of asanas. So that is why postural analysis is very important practice. And I am sure after learning this postural analysis, you will apply this postural analysis to your students, your clients, and then they will be very happy. You will get the very good feedback from your students or your clients. So the postural analysis in the side view, automatically you will be able to see the structure of my body. Now for the postural analysis, my clothing is not good for postural analysis. I have Amit with me. Okay, in the postural analysis, can you please come in standing? For the postural analysis, your trouser should fold above the knee. So your knee joint should be visible clearly. Okay, better to ask the person to wear a shorts, that will be easy. And then little skin tight cloth. Now this is too loose, but no problem, I can palpate. Then to start the postural analysis, what to do is, mock walking or spot walking. On the spot, you are supposed to march like this, in this way, and don't pay attention on your body, just keep looking at in front at the eye level and march like this. You can now 8 to 10 times when you are marching on the spot, and then stop marching, stay there. This is the natural position of the feet or natural position of the legs without any awareness. Okay, then you are going to lean in front and lean back like this, taking weight on the toes and on the heels like this without losing the balance. 4 to 5 times you are leaning in front and back, and after that just relax. Don't change the position again. Once you took the position, you have to maintain that position again. No, again marching like this. So maintain the natural position without awareness. Now leaning, not bending from the hip joint, leaning like this in one unit, whole body in one unit like this, and then just relax and stay there. So this is the natural body position or body structure for him, not for everybody. If we do the postural analysis for Amit today, and he is practicing asanas every day, morning, evening, after couple of days, if you check his body, you will get some different results in different parts of the body. So your body keep changing always. At least twice a week, your body structure will change as per your body activities. So now, for the postural analysis, there is an imaginary line known as plumb line. That plumb line, which is starting from the base, from the bottom, exactly at the middle of the this part, ankle joint here. Hmm? Lateral malleolus of the ankle joint here. From here, you imagine the straight line from bottom to the top, and that plumb line is passing through the knee joint, through the GT, greater trochanter means the ball and socket joint of the hip joint, through the bodies of the lumbar vertebrae, then through the thoracic, in front of the thoracic vertebrae, then through the bodies of the upper thoracic, from the shoulder, slightly from the lobe of the ear, and then up. So this is the imaginary line passing through the body. That is imaginary line. You can't draw the line. In our PPT, in our presentation, which we are going to show you after the break, in which you will be able to see that line, plumb line, imaginary line, so that you will understand the exact position of your ideal body. And then we will check what are the deformities in this body. So this is the subject now. So you will have your students as a subjects, and you will check those subjects according to your understanding, and then you will decide the line of practice. So now from the side view, I will, if very easily I can see that there is a flatness in the lumbar spine. Immediately I can understand he is having the flatness in the lumbar spine, so he need to develop the extension or the natural curvature in the lumbar spine. This is one example I am giving. In this way, we will check each and every joint of the body from bottom to the top, and then we will decide the line of treatment for him or line of asana practices for him. Okay, please relax. So we are taking break of 10 minutes now, and in between, in that 10 minutes, you prepare your questions also. At the end, we will have a question answer session, and you can go to the raise hand option in chat option. In your chat option, you have a raise hand option, so you can click on that, so that we will see who is raising the hand, and you can unmute yourself. We will unmute from here also. You will unmute yourself and ask the question. I think that will be comfortable, so that all will listen your question properly, and you will get, I will try to answer your question. That I am saying I will try. If I don't know any answer, I am not going to give the wrong answer. If I don't have that knowledge, I will accept that. Okay, I am sorry that I told you in the beginning that I am a new person in the field of yoga. That is why. Okay, thank you. Now we will meet after 10 minutes. Namaste. And postural analysis. Okay, we can start the slideshow. So before proceeding, we'll go through the slides. This slide especially I am going to share with you, so that this material will be with you. Okay, and you go through those, you read those things in detail, so that you will, the ideas will be more clear for you. Okay, next slide please. So for the postural analysis, the zero position of the body, that means when your body is naturally in the natural position, your feet are in the natural position apart from away from each other, then facing in front, legs hip width apart, and palms facing in front. This is known as the zero position of the body, like this. Okay, anatomical zero position or anatomical position of the body in this way. So next slide please. So in the next slides, these are the position of the body. This is the zero position. This is with the skeletal system front view. Next slide. Skeletal system from the back view in the next slide. Then the muscular system from the front view, and muscular system from the this is the back view, and muscular system from the front view. Okay, so these are your different system, especially the skeletal and muscular systems we are interested or we are going to deal with. Next slide. So these some instructions or some knowledge about the different joints or balance of the different muscles, opposing muscles, what we have discussed, that counter muscles. Okay, so these are the this is the some information about what we have discussed yesterday and today. You can go one by one those slides. So it is explaining now please here. So there are 4 types of alignments of the posture. These are different deformities in the spinal position. The first one is the ideal alignment of the body. You can see the plumb line, that one line passing through the middle, and the first figure A, in which that plumb line is passing through exactly from the bodies of the lumbar vertebrae, from the greater trochanter, from the hip joint, from the knee joint, from the feet also. Whereas the second position, in which there is a excessive kyphotic curvature, upper thoracic curvature is excessive. Everybody is having that kyphotic curvature, but here in the B figure, it is excessive. Because of that kyphotic curvature, excessive curvature, the lumbar curvature is also disturbed, the position of the pelvis is also disturbed, and position of the head is also disturbed. So because of only one deformity, that may happen because of the wrong habit, that may be by birth, we don't know. Then the figure C is having the flat back position. Whole back is flat. All the vertebrae are in one line, almost in one line. Whereas in the D, it is known as sway back position. So how the lower back, lumbar spine is almost flat, and the upper thoracic spine is in the curvature, but head is forward in that position. That is why the plumb line is passing almost from the back side of the head, not from the ear. That is the big difference. In the flat back also, the head is almost forward, and the plumb line is passing instead of through the lobe of the ear, it is passing from the back of the head. So these are the deformities you will understand during the postural analysis. Next slide, please. Again, little close up, the ideal plumb line. So how that plumb line is passing through the different joints of the body. So that plumb line is passing through the lateral malleolus of the ankle joint, then through the bodies of the knee joint, this one, okay, then from the body of the greater trochanter. Greater trochanter means this joint where the ball, your femur and your pelvis is connected, and one part is coming out. You will feel the moment of that part here. That is known as greater trochanter, GT in short. Okay, so you'll find that place. Then the axis of the pelvis, then it is passing through the bodies of the lumbar vertebrae, then from the front of the thoracic vertebrae, then through the bodies of the cervical vertebrae, through the ear lobe, it is going up. This is the ideal plumb line or ideal position. Next slide, please. The same ideal plumb line is shown with the muscles. That black shade is of the shade of the muscles. Okay, your spinal muscles, your abdominal muscles, glutes, hamstrings, and quadriceps are shown in that black part of the body. That is the muscular. Next slide, please. One by one, we are showing those positions. What are the 4 positions of the body? Ideal plumb line, ideal position, then the kyphotic curvature, excessive kyphotic curvature of the body, in which how those muscles are changed. That means the stiffness of the muscle, shortening of the muscles, stretching of the muscles, that is depending on the position of the spine. In this position, your upper thoracic, your back muscles are becoming weak, whereas your abdominal muscles are also becoming weak because they are loosened, and your hip flexors are becoming weak, whereas hamstrings are becoming more tight, and quadriceps also becoming more tight in this position. Next slide, please. In this position, your abdominal muscles are becoming tight. Okay, tight, not stronger. They are becoming tight. That is why the backward bending is becoming very difficult. Whereas the hamstrings and quadriceps are weak, hamstrings are tight. So forward bending will be difficult for that person. The next slide, please. This is known as military type posture. You know, in military, people are always in attention. So that is known as military type posture, in which the shoulders are completely open all the time like this. Okay, face in front, and they're always in attention. So that becomes their habit, and but because of that habit, the position of the spine, position of the joints changes, and then that becomes little problem for them after certain age. Okay, this is known as military type posture, in which abs are becoming tight, hamstrings and quadriceps becoming tight, whereas your inner and outer thighs are becoming weak. These are different types of the postures. Next slide, please. This is the sway back, in which upper abs, back muscles are completely weak because that structure is given in the light blackish lines. Okay, whereas the lower abdominal region and obliques, external obliques and front thighs, quadriceps are tight. Okay, and hamstrings also tight, and it affects on your position of the knees, it affects on the position of your feet, everything. That is why whole body structure is disturbed because of that wrong alignment of the body. Next slide, please. The same thing which is shown from the back view, from the center of the body. Next slide. We have got one question regarding the scoliosis, and this is the position of the scoliosis, how that plumb line is passing from the side of the spine. Okay, and we are going to discuss about that. Whatever the questions we are coming, we are going to discuss about scoliosis also. Next slide, please. See, again, the scoliosis in different parts from the lumbar spine. Because of that scoliosis, one side of the pelvis or abdominal muscles are becoming tight, whereas the other side becomes weak, and that is why the body is imbalanced. Next slide, please. Now we are coming towards the postural analysis. Take the next slide first. This one. So these are the body landmarks where you are going to check your body. From the side view, you'll look at the ankle joint, then you'll look at the knee, you'll look at the feet ankle joint, then your knee joint, then your hip thigh joint, then you'll check your feet ankle joint, knee and hip thigh joint from the other side, then you'll look at the pelvis, then you'll look at the lumbar spine, then lower thoracic, upper thoracic, neck, shoulder, and then the head. Okay, and then you are going to the front view and then the back view. From the front view, again you are going to check the position of your feet, where they are in the normal position, neutral, or they are pronated, supinated, whatever. Then you are going to check your knee joints, position of the knee joints, position of the pelvis, then position of your ribs, where they are shifted, they are rotated, whatever. Then you are checking your shoulders and your face. Then you are checking from the back side. Again you are checking the feet, knee joints, your pelvis and your shoulders, and position of the scapula, both the scapulae, and position of the head. This you are going to check from the back side. And one more important thing you are checking from the back side, that is your spine, where your vertebrae are in one line or not. If the person is having scoliosis, then you'll feel your fingers are running in a crossway, in a zigzag manner on the spine. That we will check here. Okay, so now please come in standing. Yeah, face here from the front view, from the side view. Okay, now again march on the spot. Just relax your whole body without any tension. Now stop marching. Okay, now swing in front and back 4 to 5 times, and then just stop and relax as it is. No connection, no tension, complete natural position. Okay, now this position he is not supposed to change at all. Starting with the foot, so you are finding the ideal plumb line or the imaginary plumb line. This will pass from here. First you are looking at the lateral malleolus here. Okay, from the lateral malleolus, now you are looking at the shin bone here, this one like this, and this one, the foot, this line of the foot, and this one. If this is almost in 90-degree properly, if it is creating a 90-degree angle, that means the foot is in the neutral position. This foot is in the neutral position. If my palm is running down like this, that means my feet are not in the neutral position. This foot, I am checking the right side of the body. So this is the right leg. So right foot of this subject is in a neutral position. Now I am going to check the knee joint. With this ideal plumb line, first I will find out the GT, greater trochanter. So I will palpate here and pressing my palm here on the hip thigh joint, I can feel this bone here, ball here. So I am feeling this bone easily. If the person is very healthy, having too much flesh, then it will be very difficult to find the GT. And at that time, you will have to ask the person to turn the foot out like this. And you will place your palm here and you will feel the moment of that greater trochanter, that moment of the femur, and you will feel that moment of the femur here. Now this is the point and this is the starting point. So I will imagine this line starting from here to here, and then if that line is passing from the middle of the knee joint, exactly at the center of the knee joint, that means this knee joint is neutral for this subject, for this person. If hamstrings are tight, for example, the tennis player, badminton player, table tennis player, golfers, for them, they are always in this position. They are bending the knees always. For the golf, for lawn tennis, so always they are bending the knees and they are taking this position. And because of this, they have tight hamstrings and their knee position becomes like this. When they are standing straight, their knees are here, little flexed. So that time, if knee is flexed, for that person, bend little, for that person, position of the knee will be like this. And if you imagine the plumb line, ideal plumb line from here to here, this line will be passing from the back of the knee joint. That will be flexed knee. Right knee is flexed for that person. Okay, now relax. Then after that, you know the point of greater trochanter, this one. Now you are going to check the hip joint. What should be the position of the hip joint? First, you will check the iliac crest. What is that iliac crest? The pelvis, the upper part and curvature of the pelvis. When you hold the small baby in this way, exactly at the top of the pelvis, at the middle of the pelvis, this is known as iliac crest. So this iliac crest and this GT, both are in one line exactly. That is the neutral position of the pelvis here, this one. This is the neutral position of the pelvis. If the GT is little in front, okay, that means there is a posterior tilt of the pelvis. Or if GT is back of the crest, then it will be the anterior tilt of the pelvis. But for him, this is neutral, pelvis is neutral. We are going to confirm it from the other side, or we are going to check the other leg also till here. So for left leg, don't ask the subject to change the position. You will have to change your position from side to side, from back or front, whatever. The subject will remain as it is. Then I am checking the foot from the other side. So it is almost 90 degree. Ideally, this is neutral. Then I am going to check the knee joint, ideal plumb line and GT. So the knee joint is almost neutral. Okay. Then the iliac crest from this side I will check, and the iliac crest and GT are in one line. So he is neutral in the hip joint also. That means the hip is flexed, that time hip will be in front. So hip joint is also in a neutral position. Now I am coming up towards the position of the pelvis. For that, I want to check ASIS and PSIS. What is that ASIS? We have the bones of the pelvis in front and back. For example, so this is ASIS, means anterior superior iliac spine, ASIS, and posterior superior iliac spine, which is back. Those PSIS are little closer to each other as compared to ASIS. Front bones of the pelvis are little away from each other, this much, whereas PSIS are little close to each other. Now for males, this ASIS and PSIS, posterior superior iliac spine, if you don't find this one, you will ask the subject to bend down. Then you will be able to find it very easily, or ask the person to find that bone. Come up. Bend. Come up. Okay. So this is the PSIS and this is ASIS here. So for males, they should be in one line. But for him, see, level of the PSIS is here and ASIS is here. So almost around 10 to 15 degree alignment is disturbed. That means the pelvis of this subject is having the posterior tilt like this. Okay, that is natural position. Okay, relax. This is, he is having the posterior tilt of the pelvis from side view. It is not in the neutral position. Then after this, relax your hands. After this, we are coming to the spine. We are going to check the lumbar spine first. If you are placing your palm in the lumbar curvature, the exact curvature is like this. So when you are having this palm, your fingers are in little in extension and they are touching easily, your palm is touching easily in the lumbar spine, then this is neutral curvature or natural curvature. So your lumbar vertebrae are neutral or not, that you will check with the palm like this curvature. If you are having too much pressure on the palms, that time the person will have excessive extension in the lumbar spine. For him, the lumbar curvature is having little flat area. It is not too much extension, but not neutral curvature also. He is having little flatness in the lumbar spine. After that, I am going to check the lower thoracic and upper thoracic. For that, first I will have to find out the thoracic vertebrae. How to find out the thoracic vertebrae? Very easy. This bone, which is very easily you can feel the touching. This is your C7, seventh cervical vertebra, this one. You will find the bottom rib of the person, the bottom rib, this one, or you can ask the person to find the bottom rib. So by palpating, I am finding this bottom rib here. Running your finger from the bottom ribs from both sides, here is your T12, because the floating rib, bottom rib is connecting to the 12th vertebra. This one, this is T12, this is C7. One vertebra approximately one down is your T1. One more down is your T2. So from T2 and T12, you will divide it in equal parts, approximately equal parts like this with your fingers. This is your lower thoracic and this is the upper thoracic in this way. Lower thoracic is having the flatness, whereas upper thoracic is having the natural curvature, because your palm is exactly like this, resting on the thoracic vertebra, upper thoracic in the easy way. So upper thoracic is having a natural curvature, it is neutral, but the lower thoracic is having the flat area. That is because of the flatness in the lumbar spine. Okay. In the same way, you are going to check the cervical spine or cervical vertebrae. Again, you are to show you I am from the back side. Otherwise, I have to check it from this side, from the side view. Okay. Again, I am going to place my palm here in the cervical vertebra. If I am getting too much tension in my palm to touch my palm to the cervical vertebrae, that means the cervical region is in the hyperextension. But here I am having a gap. That means cervical region for him is really in the hyperextension. Otherwise, the cervical extension should be here. For him, the curvature should be like this. But for him, natural curvature has become little extended. We'll try to find out the reason for that. Now, from the side view, you have gone through the position of the spine. Now you are going to check the position of the shoulder also and head. So you have this bone, shoulder, this one. From here, from the shoulder bone, you are standing to the side, and imaginary plumb line, you are imagining that line, and if that line is passing through the lobe of the ear, now if you imagine this line from GT, here, then the shoulder, and then here, so the line is passing little back of the lobe of the ear. That means head is little forward. Because of that forward head, he is in the hyperextension. Automatically, naturally, head is adjusted. When head becomes forward, then person becomes like this, and cervical goes in the hyperextension. Whereas when your head is in the neutral position, cervical will be in a neutral position, head will become in the neutral position, and the plumb line will be passing through the lobe of the ear. You can correct this by practicing yoga asanas or any other exercises with the full awareness. Okay. So after the side view, this side view, you will check from the other side also. Again, I am checking at the shoulder, then I am going through the imaginary plumb line. I will draw that line imaginarily, but from this side also, I feel that head is forward, plumb line is passing through the back of the ear lobe. So that is why his head is forward, that is confirmed. It is not in the neutral position. Now I am going to check him from the front view. From the front view, I am looking at the feet. So there are two ways to check the feet. I will look at the lateral and medial malleolus, this one. So those two malleolus should be in one level from the ground. If those two malleolus, lateral and medial malleolus, are in one line, that means the foot is in the neutral position. Or I will confirm it from the back side also. But as I am finding the lateral malleolus is slightly down than the medial malleolus, so that is why this much difference in the level of the malleolus. That means his this right foot is little supinated. Okay, little supinated, because more weight is on the outer edge of the foot as compared to middle edge of the foot. Then I will check the knee joint, whether the knee joint are neutral or not. First I will check from the to the left foot also, and the left foot is also having little supination because the weight is more on the outer edge of the foot. Then please join your left feet together, heels and toes together. Now I will check whether those knees are knocking each other or not. If there is a gap in the knee joints and they are not knocking each other, or there is a big difference or big distance in the knee, you can turn there to the camera so that people can watch you. See, this is the curvature of the knee joints, and there is a big gap here. That is the natural curvature of the shin bones. But here at the knee joints, I can pass my fingers easily. So these knees are in a neutral position, feet are in the neutral position here. But if I look only, by looking, it seems that the legs are having the curvatures. So that is known as bow-legged, like a bow. Okay, this is known as bow-legged position. And bow-legged position is having a tendency of knee injury or knee joint pain always. Many people are having too much curvature from here to here. Okay, they have bow-legged position, and for that we need to practice certain asanas. So this knee joint is almost neutral, but little bow-legged, but not too much. Then again march and stop. Okay, now I am looking at the knee joint from the front view, whether the knee joint is neutral or not. Means in the sense whether your femur, your leg is turned in or turned out. That position of the femur I want to find out. For that, if I am touching the outer and medial bones of the legs here, malleolus, or it is known as meniscus. So lateral meniscus and medial meniscus of the knee. If those two meniscus, if I am sitting here and I am, I think from here, from the side view, so that people can observe how I am checking it. That's it, 45 degree here. Okay. See, I am sitting here, my hands are away from myself like this in front, and if I am touching my fingers to lateral and medial meniscus of the knees, if both the fingers are touching evenly, that means the knee is facing in front, that means the femur is in aligned position. If one, for example, the medial is little away from my finger, that means the femur is turned in. Or if my left hand is going away from myself, that means the femur is rotated out. Okay, that will confirm. But for him, femur is in the neutral position. For the other leg also, for the left leg, yes. Now for him, the left leg, left femur is turned in. This left femur is turned in a little. So this is not neutral. Right leg is neutral, but left is not neutral. That is the little difference, natural difference. Now I am coming to the pelvis for him. I will check those ASIS, hip bones, front hip bones, this one. And I will check the ribs, bottom ribs. Find out your bottom ribs. One finger, with one finger. Okay. Keep your fingers there. Huh? Okay. These are the bottom ribs, and these are the ASIS. So if I am checking those bottom ribs and the pelvis from both sides, and if they are even, that means the pelvis is neutral. There is no tilt in the pelvis to the right or left. But see, I am joining my fingers, my right distance, right, fingers of the right hand is little less. That means either pelvis is tilted, shifted, or ribs are shifted. Any one of them. That I have to confirm from back view. Now I am checking the ribs, whether ribs are shifted to one side or rotated to one side. Again, I will lift my fingers and trying to touch my fingers exactly standing in front of the person. And now I feel my right finger is touching to the right bottom rib, but left is not touching. There is a little gap. Now release. There is a little gap. That means there is a twist, clockwise twist in the rib. Ribs are twisted clockwise little. That means the ribs are not in the neutral position for him or today. For today's analysis, his ribs are shifted. That I told you in the beginning. Your body keeps changing. Every week you will have different results in the body analysis. Now I am looking at the shoulders. Okay. So looking at the shoulders, when I am again stretching my hands, my index fingers, I am touching my index fingers here. Again, see, my left finger is touching to the shoulder, but right is not touching. If I am lifting my hands evenly and then touching, then right is little down. That means the left side of the shoulder, his left side. If my right hand is on his left side, so left shoulder is little down. That maybe his left scapula is sliding down. That we'll check from the back side. Then I am going to check his face. I am looking at the sternum. Okay. Then I am drawing the line from the sternum to the throat, through the lips, through the nose, and through the middle of the eyebrows. So the line should pass exactly through the tip of the nose and through the middle of the eyebrows. But for him, the line is passing slightly towards the left side instead of center. So the head is slightly to his right side, slightly shifted to his right side. And only looking from distance, I can feel that both the ears and both the cheeks are not visible evenly. There is little difference in him, and there is a difference in the neck also. From the collarbone and from the earlobe, there is difference also. Now I am going to confirm all the things from back view, from back side also. From back side, I will start from the heels again. So this is the lateral malleolus and medial malleolus. Or you can look at this line is coming down. If the line is drawing out, that means the weight is more on the middle part of the foot. If that line is neutral, then feet are neutral. If that line is running inside towards the middle line, that means the weight is on the outer edge of the foot. For him, from back side, both the lines are almost neutral, especially right is completely neutral, whereas left is slightly running to the outside. That is why the left foot is from back side. I am finding that left foot is having more weight on the outer edge of the foot. It is not neutral. Whereas for the knees, again I will check how to check the knee joints. I will ask the person to bend at the knees, and then I can find those both bones. Now stand up straight. Okay, here. So from here, again I can see that his left foot is femur is slightly turned in. That knee is not in the neutral position. That is why the femur is turned in. Whereas for the right one, it is almost neutral. Okay. Now I am going to check the pelvis. So I will find out the PSIS and GT. One thing I forgot to explain you for the males and females from the side view. as I told you, the PSIS and ASIS for him, there is a 10-degree difference. This 10-degree difference for the males is not neutral. For the males, ASIS and PSIS should be in one level. And for females, this PSIS and ASIS are having around 10 to 15-degree difference. ASIS is lower than the PSIS for females. For them, this is the neutral position. But as a male, he is a male, that is why this is not neutral. That I forgot for the side view. Now I am going to check his PSIS again here, and then I am touching my fingers to the PSIS, and here I feel his pelvis is neutral from the back view. Okay. Then let me check his scapulae. Relax your hands. How to check the scapulae? Ideally, naturally, both the scapulae are situated between T2 and T7, thoracic vertebrae 2nd and thoracic vertebrae 7, 2 and 7. In between 2 and 7, those scapulae should be situated. Now we need to find out T2 and T7. How to find out? Again, you know the C7 here. One down is T1, one more down is T2. You'll feel the touching sensation of the spine. So this is T2. Then again you are asking the person to find out the bottom rib, or you can find out the bottom rib running your fingers from the bottom rib to the spine. This is T12. This T12 and T2, when you are dividing them in a half equally with the fingers, then this is T7. Now I have T7, I have T2. You can turn here. Okay. I have T7 and T12, T2 and T7. Now I will check the scapula. Where is the scapula? Here. From here, 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 here. You can find the scapula here and here. Okay. Then I will check the other scapula also. Here and here. So this scapula, I can easily find that scapula is slightly down, whereas here the scapula is almost in the level. Okay, upper and lower bone of the scapula, I can feel. I am holding his scapula and it is in the line. So it is exactly between T2 and T7, whereas his left is slightly down, but it is not neutral exactly, but not having any deformity in the scapula. Means his scapula are not elevated, not depressed. Now this we have checked elevation and depression only, whether they are lifted or they are depressed. Now we want to check the scapula whether they are retracted or protracted. So you'll ask the person to give his 3 fingers like this, 3 fingers. Okay, check your 3 fingers and his 3 fingers are almost equal or not, width of the fingers. So 3 fingers width. Ideally, your scapula, both scapulae from the center, from the spine, should be 3 fingers away, ideally. Now see here is the scapula and it is around 4 fingers away from the midline or from the spine. Okay. The same thing, is applicable to the right side of the scapula. Here is the scapula and here more than 3 fingers, almost 5 fingers. So the scapulae are protracted. They are away from the spine. So ideally it should be 3 fingers from here, 3 fingers from here. But see, again almost gap of 2 fingers are missing. So that means the scapulae are protracted. They are going away from each other. That is why shoulders are rounded forward. And that is affecting on his position of the hands also. How? That we will discuss. This is affecting on the neck also. How? Again, if you are looking at the level of the shoulders from back side, the shoulder level looks in the neutral position. Whereas when I checked from the front side, that time the one shoulder, that means his right shoulder was slightly down. That slight difference you may find from front and back view, but it is almost neutral but not exactly neutral. So that is not the big issue for him. Maybe because of some wrong habits, especially the females who are carrying the purse from one side always, or the people who are carrying the laptop bag or any heavy bag from one side only, that time their level of the shoulder becomes like this. One shoulder goes down, one scapula goes down, depressed always. So that may affect on the position of the spine. Now I am looking at the spine. That means I am running my fingers, and whether my fingers are running easily, evenly, that means there is no scoliosis in the spine, or there is no flat area on the spine, whatever that I want to check. So I will request, I am putting my two fingers here at the C7, and now you bend down all the way, go down and come up, and come up. While coming up, and while again go down, while going down and coming up, my fingers are running evenly as it is in one line. So that is why he is not having any deviation in the vertebrae. Okay, so that means he is not having any scoliosis in the spine. He is having in one line. I have one more subject who is having little scoliosis. Can I request E1 to come here and check your spine? Please face there. Okay, now if I am placing my fingers here, and now bend down all the way, go down, complete, sinking down, and now come up. See, my fingers are running in a zigzag way. Again, bend down and come up. My fingers are running in a zigzag way, so I will check where is the scoliosis. Here. See, these are the vertebrae. Here, 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 and now this part is slightly deviated. Okay, lumbar and little above the lumbar is deviated. So that is why he is having the scoliosis, spinal scoliosis. It may be by birth, or it may be because of some wrong habits. Thank you, Ivan. Okay. So this is our postural analysis through which you can decide the position of your body, or the position of the body structure of the person. After doing this postural analysis, then you can decide the line of treatment. You can sit down, please. So the line of treatment or line of asana you can decide after the postural analysis. Now, in short, if you analyze the postural analysis of this person, in which there is a little pelvis tilt and lumbar spine and lower thoracic is having the flat area, then for him we need to give the backward bending asanas more, not the forward bending, because already he is having the forward curvature. Then you have to ask him to be aware of the position of the head. His head is forward, so you have to ask him to drop the chin down and push the head back like this, dropping the chin down and pushing the head back, so that the back of the neck will be lengthened and his head will become in a neutral position. Of course, he is a practitioner, he is our student, so that is why he is practicing asana every day, so he is not having many deformities. Otherwise, when you will have any new client or new person with you, then for sure you will find many differences in, or many deformities in the body of the subject. Okay, so this is the postural analysis. Now, if you are having questions, you can go to the chat option. In the chat option, there is a raise hand option, and you can ask the questions. Yeah, already there. Okay.
Yeah, hi
For
sir. Can you hear me?
scoliosis, just a minute, just a minute. For the scoliosis, if the scoliosis of the curvature of the spine is towards the left side, okay, so if the curvature is to the left side and middle of the scoliosis is coming to the right side, then the side stretching asanas like side bending or lateral bending, chakrasan, konasan, trikonasana without twisting, those asanas should be practiced from the opposite side for double time. Okay, for example, I have scoliosis to the left side in this way. I am here. Because of the scoliosis, the shoulders will be like this. So my left side is down, right is up. Then what I will do, I need to balance from both the sides. So if I am practicing side bending chakrasana or konasana or lateral bending chakrasana here for 30 seconds, then I will have to practice this lateral bending chakrasana from the opposite side either for 1 minute or 30 seconds twice, double time or double practice from the other side. Don't think that, okay, I will skip practice from this side and I will practice from one side only. No. Then what will happen? It will develop the imbalance of the body. So you need to maintain the balance also. That is why practice this side once and practice the other side twice. Okay. Be it side bending chakrasan, be it konasan, be it trikonasan without twisting, whatever, that you will practice for double time or twice from the side of the opposite side of the scoliosis. Okay, this is especially for the scoliosis. Yes, you'll I record about the recordings, that question. Then there is no textbook for this. Okay. Prevent injury while doing asanas, opening hip joint. Lot of yoga teachers have hip injuries, of course. And as I told you also, I was so flexible during my competitions, so I could I could stretch my legs straight to the pillar on the wall and one leg down, and I used to touch my face to both the knees. And while practicing only, I got the tendon injury here, and since then I stopped practice. Okay, this may happen with you also, so don't become too much enthusiastic. During that hip opening, better to practice hip opening in the lying down position first. Okay, in the lying down, when you are holding the leg like ardha halasana with one leg, then pulling the leg towards you, then taking that leg to the side according to your capacity. The same thing you can practice in standing like this. You are stretching it in front, then stretching to the side. Okay, so in this way you are going to open the hip thigh joint. In sitting also you can do that, opening the hip joint like this, giving this exercise in and out, in lying down on the ground in this way. Then you are going to stretch it for ek pad shirasana. In this way, step by step, you can open your hip thigh joint without any injury. Without any injury, that means you have to practice according to your capacity at your own. Don't ask anybody to push or pull your leg. Then only you will be able to protect yourself from the injuries. If you are asking the other person to stretch your leg, that person or he or she is not knowing the capacity of your body, your flexibility, your stiffness, and then he or she will pull you much than your capacity, and you may have the injuries or you may have the pain. So that is why, according to your capacity. Various spine conditions, again, there may be different conditions. For example, lumbar cervical spondylitis, spondylosis, spondylolisthesis. In those conditions, in lying down position, crocodile variations or Merudanda Abhyas, different variations of Merudanda Abhyas, they are very helpful to cure the spinal problems or to make them under control. Whereas for the backward and forward bending, to develop the flexibility of the backward and forward asanas, then you need to connect yourself properly so that without any injury you will be able to perform asanas. For example, Paschimottanasana. For my problem, for my body, for my limitations of the spinal problems, I should not practice Paschimottanasana, I should not practice Halasana, I should not practice Sarvangasana for me because of my past injuries. Okay, if I am not practicing those asanas, but still I want to improve the flexibility of my spinal muscles, my hamstrings, then for that, at least in standing position, I can do this one. Not here. If I am doing in this way, I will develop the problem more. Instead of that, I am keeping my upper back and neck as it is, and I am practicing from the lower back and from the hip thigh joint. This will help me in this way. For the different condition of the spine, if the spine is having the flatness, then you'll have to develop the natural curvature, then sitting close to the wall, putting the cushions in the lumbar spine, then putting the cushion in the cervical spine, you'll have to maintain the natural curvature of the spine. Makarasana, lying down on the abdomen, relaxation position. Makarasana is the ideal position to maintain the natural curvature of the spine. Natural curvature of the vertebral column is maintained automatically in Makarasana. Okay, so that is the ideal position to check whether you have ideal position of the spine or not. And if you find the deformities, then you can use the cushions to develop that curvature, natural curvature. Then if you have flat back, for example, for this subject, lumbar spine is flat. So for him, backward bending asanas are recommended. Okay, so that will develop the curvature in the lumbar spine. In this way, by the practice, you will get that idea automatically at your own, and you will develop your own skills also. That I am sure, don't worry. Next, please. So the changes you have taught apply which asanas: pulling the belly button in, squeeze the buttocks and pulling the back, front, thighs, muscles, knees. Please explain changes in Setubandhasana which have taught yesterday. Okay. In Setubandhasana, bridge pose, when you are squeezing your buttocks and back thighs to shoot the tailbone in, by shooting the tailbone in, you are able to extend your lower back more and more. Not only lower back, whole spine more and more. And by squeezing your buttocks and back thighs, you are opening your hip flexors, because everybody is having the tight hip flexors because of our position. Because I am also sitting in the chair, or when you are sitting in on the ground, that time your hip flexors are contracted. Psoas major is contracted. So that is why to open the hip flexors, you need the backward stretch. And for that, without injury, when you want to develop the backward stretch, squeezing your buttocks and back thighs are helping you, especially in backward bending asanas like Setubandhasana, Ushtrasana, Dhanurasana. All three asanas are having the same effect, but the position, body structures are the different. In Setubandhasana, body weight is on the shoulders and feet, whereas in Ushtrasana, body weight is on the knees and feet, and in Dhanurasana, body weight is on the abdomen. But the body structure is the same in all three asanas. So that is the important thing. To develop the strength of your glutes and hamstrings, you need to squeeze them properly. And of course, it is possible to improve the strength of your calves. It is possible to improve the strength of your inner thighs, adductors also, by practicing Setubandhasana. Self-postural analysis is not possible. You'll have to do the postural analysis for each other or for the others. So you'll have to teach anybody, to your friend or any other colleague, and then do the postural analysis of each other. Self-analysis is not possible. Bow-legged, okay. When the person is having bow-legged, means knees are away from, when the feet are together and knees are away from each other, that is known as bow-legged. For them, you'll have to give more weight of the standing asanas on the inner edge of the foot. For example, the person is having the bow-legged, so instead of giving weight on the outer edge, naturally the weight will be on the outer edge of the foot. So purposely you will have to take weight, body weight on the inner edge of the feet and then perform asanas, so that the pressure will come on the the inner edge of the, or inner medial malleolus of the knee will be stretched, and lateral ligament will be contracted and medial ligament will be stretched, and then it will come towards the neutral position or the normal position. Another way for this bow-legged person is, you are putting the little cushion or any brick in your ankle joints, and you are tying you have to tie your knee joints with some rope or with some cloth. Then it will develop that natural curvature, and they will be in the neutral position after a few months, not after a few minutes. Okay. Then to activate quadriceps, you said that to pull the kneecaps in. So if constantly keeping your knees pulled in, it can cause injury to them. How much time should be the devoted asana practices as your age to avoid wear and tear of the muscles? Of course, there is no age limit for asana practices. Pulling the kneecap is not always. During asana practices, whenever asana practices in which you are supposed to keep your knees straight, for those asana practices only you have to pull the kneecaps, not throughout. For example, halasan, ardhalasan, in which you are lifting your one leg in lying down position, both legs in lying down position, that time you have to pull your kneecaps. In paschimottanasana, you have to keep your knees straight, that time you have to pull the kneecaps. In standing asanas like trikonasana, parivar trikonasana, pariruttra trikonasana, in those asanas you have to keep your knees straight, that time you have to pull the kneecaps. I know, of course, I am going out of the traditional asanas also. As I know that you must be practicing Ashtanga Vinyasa, Iyengar, and other modified techniques also. So if you are practicing for Parivar Trikonasana 1, that means without twisting, this one, for this one, my left kneecap should be pulled, but not right. So this one is important. One is relaxed, only one, in which I have to keep my knees straight. That kneecap I have to pull, not both at a time. So alternately you can decide in which asana which kneecap I have to pull, or in which asana both kneecaps I have to pull. Especially those having knee issues, knee injuries in the knee ligaments because of some reason, for them pulling the kneecap is the best exercise. 2 or 3 times in a day for 5 minutes you do that exercise, pulling the kneecaps and relaxing them. It will help you to cure that problem. What will be the effect of Surya Namaskar on posture? What will be the effect of Surya Namaskar on posture? Okay, Surya Namaskar itself is having 8 types of asana practices, postures. Is it? Pranamasana, Hasta Uttanasana, Ardha Chandrasana, then Hasta Padasana, then Ashwa Sanchalanasana, then plank dart pose, then Ashtanga Namanasana, then Bhujangasana, and then Parvatasana or downward facing dog. These are 8 positions practiced in Surya Namaskar. There is misunderstanding about Surya Namaskar, that Surya Namaskar practices are pre-yogic warm-up exercises. No. We have competitions of Surya Namaskar, and then people are performing Surya Namaskar 100 rounds and 108 rounds and 150 rounds and 200 rounds of Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar is not for the competition. Though Surya Namaskar is not the part of a traditional yoga, but it is not the part of exercise also. Remember this. So Surya Namaskar should be practiced in a yogic way. How you perform asana practices very slowly without jerk. In the transition also, when you are practicing Surya Namaskar, you should practice very slowly like this. 1, Pranamasana. Breathing continue, not holding the breath. Then 2, very slowly you are stretching up. Then here, after reaching here, you will apply the connections, tuck the belly button in, squeezing buttocks and back thighs, pushing your hips in front, pulling the kneecaps, knees are straight, and then extend yourself, Hasta Uttanasana. Then 3, as it is, pulling the kneecaps, knees are straight, hinching down, shooting the tailbone out. Very slowly you are coming parallel to the ground, stretching the spine, and then all the way going down, but your shoulders are relaxed, widening at the collarbone in this way, Hasta Padasana. Then slowly, with control, you'll take one leg back in 4th position, that is Ashwa Sanchalanasana, horse riding pose. So the position of Surya Namaskar or steps of Surya Namaskar should be practiced very slowly, like asana practices, not forcefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, and throwing the leg back and front. Then you'll get the sweating only. But lack of connections, no connection at all. How will you develop the flexibility? How will you develop the strength and stamina? Not at all. Even burning the calorie is not the aim of asana practices or yoga practices. Many people are coming here in Kaval Dham and asking, okay, how many calories we are going to burn within this 1 hour of asana practice? Asana practices are not to burn the calories. That is not the primary aim of asana practices. Strength, stamina, flexibility, concentration, relaxation, easiness. These are the aims of asana practices or yoga practices. Burning of the calorie will happen at its own according to the person. It will depend on the individual structure of physical structure. Even it depends on the mental status. It depends on the emotional balance. Okay, all those parameters are included for the weight loss. So weight loss is not like a 2 minutes Maggie. So it will take time. Now, what about lifting your heel and bringing it down during Setu Bandhasana? Is it for the calves? Yes, of course, that is for the calves. Lifting the heels and lowering them, that modification is only to develop the strength of your calves. Many times people get cramps in the calves or in the thighs, especially while sleeping. Or after sleeping, when they wake up and they stretch themselves, yawning. And while yawning, you get the cramp in the calf or in the hamstring. That is because of the weakness of the muscles. Either you have weakness in your calves or in your hamstring. Calf means not the soleus. You get the cramps in the gastrocnemius, backside. Okay, not in the soleus. So in that case, only one way to release that cramp easily, immediately, is to flex the foot. Stretch the knee and flex the foot. That means your toes will be towards you. And you stretch your heel, push your heel. Immediately you'll get relief from that muscle pull. Okay, that is only way. But that moment of the ankle joint in Setu Bandhasana is to develop the strength of your calves. Okay. Okay, anything more? I think all are okay. I hope this was helpful for you, all those 2 days, yesterday and today. I hope you got some new information from me. Whatever I had a little knowledge, I said that this one 0. Okay, I have this much knowledge about yoga, and I tried to share with you. I hope you will follow those instructions. You will practice this postural analysis in the future, and you won't have any injuries like me or like other people, and you will not make the other people's injured, your students injured. So thank you very much for attending this session. We have different workshops going on in Kaivaladham, online workshops. You can go through the websites and you'll be getting the information about different workshops time to time, and you'll be getting more benefited, and hope to see you soon in any other workshop also. If you have any questions, any doubt, any problems, anytime, you can contact. Here you have email IDs or communication numbers with you, or it is available on the website also. So please, you can contact. I will be very happy to answer you and help you anytime. Thank you very much. Namaste. We'll end the session with Shanti Part, that is Purnamada. All of you, please sit comfortable and straight, eyes gently closed, hands in Namaskar Mudra, prayer position. Breathe in, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Namaste.